In the vast emptiness of space, asteroid colony 237 drifted like a forgotten memory. The metal walls hummed with the quiet desperation of humanity's last refuge. Jay Park stood by the observation window, his reflection a ghost against the starlit backdrop. 15 years had passed since the great galactic conflict. Humans had been branded as monsters, driven from civilization like a disease. The memories still burned. Plasma weapons cutting through alien fleets, strategic attacks that left entire planetary systems scarred and trembling. Yuna Cho approached Jay, her footsteps echoing in the narrow corridor. She carried a data pad, its screen flickering with survival reports. The colony's resources were running low. Another month, maybe two, and they would face the ultimate test of survival. "We're down to 40% atmospheric recycling capacity," she said, her voice flat and emotionless. These were not times for drama, only cold calculation. Jay nodded. His eyes never left the window. Somewhere out there, alien civilizations still whispered about humanity, a species too dangerous to be allowed back into the galactic community. They remembered the wars, the brutality, the unexpected tactics that had turned entire military strategies to dust. The colony was a patchwork of survival. 10,000 humans remained, scattered across interconnected asteroid modules. Engineers, scientists, former military personnel, all united by a single purpose: survival. Children born on the colony knew nothing of Earth. They learned survival skills before they learned to read. Hydroponics gardens grew between living quarters. Every piece of technology was recycled, modified, pushed beyond its original design. Waste was a luxury they could not afford. In the central command center, old military communication systems crackled with occasional transmissions. Most were fragments, warnings, distress signals, ghost echoes from distant conflicts. The humans monitored everything, collecting information like precious water in a desert. Jay's team had developed unique communication scrambling techniques. They could listen without being detected, gathering intelligence about the galaxy that had rejected them. Each transmission was a potential lifeline, a potential opportunity. The colony's design was a marvel of human adaptation. Modules could detach and reconnect. Defensive systems were integrated into every structural element. What looked like simple maintenance panels could transform into weapon platforms in seconds. Survival had become an art form, and humans were its most passionate artists. Young engineers worked alongside veterans, learning skills that merged military precision with scientific innovation. A 16-year-old could repair a critical life support system as easily as an experienced technician. Age meant nothing when survival was the only currency that mattered. Outside, the asteroid belt provided natural camouflage. Random mineral deposits and constant movement made detection nearly impossible. Alien long-range scanners would see nothing more than ordinary space debris. Yuna pulled up a holographic display showing their current resource mapping. Water recycling was at 62%. Protein synthesis was stable, but energy production remained their biggest challenge. The fusion generators were aging, cobbled together from salvaged parts. "We need a solution," she muttered, more to herself than to Jay. Jay understood. Every system had a breaking point. Every technology had limits. But humans had always been exceptional at pushing those limits. The colony's medical bay was a testament to their resilience. Doctors performed miracles with limited equipment. Genetic modification techniques allowed them to adapt to the harsh environment. Children were born with enhanced immune systems, capable of surviving conditions that would kill other species. At the core of asteroid colony 237 was something more than just survival. It was hope. A quiet, stubborn hope that one day they would find their place in the universe again. As night cycle began, the colony's lights dimmed. Emergency systems glowed softly, a heartbeat of technology keeping humanity alive in the cold darkness of space. Jay Park watched the stars, knowing that somewhere out there their moment would come. The universe was vast. Humanity was patient, and they were waiting. In the shadows of abandoned modules, children listened to stories of Earth, a planet they had never seen but knew existed somewhere in their collective memory. Tales of blue skies, open oceans, and a world that once was home. Survival was not just about maintaining systems. It was about maintaining hope. And hope, in asteroid colony 237, never died. The first signals came quietly, almost gently. A research station near the Orion cluster went silent. Then another. Communications became fragmented, then stopped completely. Woolley studied the incoming transmission fragments. His hands trembled slightly as he realized something massive was approaching. The holographic display showed dark patches spreading across star maps like ink bleeding through paper. The Void Swarm moved differently from any known invasion force. They weren't conquering, they were consuming. Initial reports described impossible. Machines, part organic, part mechanical. They absorbed entire planetary systems, breaking down technological and biological matter into raw resources. Planets disappeared within hours. Entire civilizations became nothing more than fuel. Alien defense networks collapsed quickly. The Interstellar Confederation's most advanced fleets looked like children's toys against this massive threat. Battleships, designed to protect multiple star systems, crumbled under strange energy weapons that seemed to dissolve matter at the molecular level. J. Park watched the transmissions from asteroid colony 237. His team decoded fragments, piecing together a terrifying puzzle. The Void Swarm didn't communicate. They simply consumed. Military strategists across different alien civilizations gathered emergency conferences. Holographic representations showed massive dark zones consuming galactic sectors. Panic started spreading faster than information. The consuming darkness moved with mathematical precision. It didn't attack randomly. Each targeted system was carefully selected, processed, and integrated into the swarm's massive collective intelligence. Biological entities were transformed. Technologies were dismantled and repurposed. Nothing was wasted. Nothing remained unchanged. Planetary shields considered the ultimate defense became useless. The Void Swarm passed through them like ghosts, breaking down molecular structures with technologies beyond current understanding. Entire planetary populations vanished within minutes. Woolley's communication network captured desperate final transmissions. Alien captains screamed. Military commanders gave impossible orders. Scientists tried understanding the impossible mechanism of destruction. The Void Swarm represented something beyond traditional warfare. It was a system of total consumption, a collective intelligence that saw entire civilizations as nothing more than resources to be processed and integrated. Some transmissions suggested the swarm originated from outside known galactic boundaries. Others hypothesized it was an ancient technological system designed for universal recycling, but no one truly understood its origins. Alien species began evacuating entire star systems. Refugee ships moved like panicked schools of fish, searching for safe zones. But safety became a rapidly shrinking concept. Jay's team tracked the swarm's movement. Their analysis revealed a disturbing pattern. The invasion wasn't random. It followed specific technological and biological signatures. Something was guiding this massive consumption. Military databases crashed. Communication networks collapsed. The Interstellar Confederation's most advanced tracking systems became useless against this new threat. Within 3 standard galactic months, 17 major star systems disappeared completely. Trillions of life forms were consumed or transformed. The galaxy watched in helpless terror. Woolley understood something critical. Traditional defense strategies would fail. They needed something different, something unexpected, and somewhere, in the darkness of asteroid colony 237, humanity waited, watching, learning, preparing. The consuming darkness continued spreading, unstoppable, relentless, transforming everything in its path into something unrecognizable. Nobody knew where it would stop. Nobody knew if it could be stopped. But somewhere, in the quiet corners of abandoned space stations and hidden asteroid colonies, a species once considered too dangerous was about to be remembered. Humanity's time was coming. The galaxy just didn't know it yet. The void swarm continued consuming. Silent, methodical, infinite. And in the background, something was watching. Something was planning, waiting for the right moment. The diplomatic shuttle arrived without warning. Its design was sleek, damaged, showing clear signs of recent battle damage. Kim watched from the observation deck as the alien vessel approached asteroid colony 237. Desperation had a unique smell, and today it smelled like fear and burned technology. 3 alien representatives emerged, each from a different species previously involved in humanity's galactic exile. Their translator devices hummed with nervous energy. The lead diplomat, a tall creature with translucent skin and multiple eye stalks, looked completely exhausted. "We need your help," the diplomat said directly. No introductions. No diplomatic pleasantries. J. Park stood silently, his posture calm. Years of isolation had taught humans the value of patience. The aliens shifted uncomfortably under his steady gaze. The holographic display between them showed the void swarm's current advancement. 17 major civilizations had already been completely consumed. Entire technological networks erased. Biological populations transformed or eliminated. "We rejected you," another alien representative admitted. "We called humans monsters. Dangerous. Unpredictable." Jay's lips curved into a slight smile. Unpredictability was about to become their greatest weapon. The diplomatic team brought technological reports, battle recordings, strategic analyses. Each document revealed how traditional military strategies failed against the void swarm. Conventional weapons produced no significant damage. Defensive systems collapsed within minutes. Humanity's previous war tactics suddenly looked like potential salvation. Yuna Cho reviewed the data with clinical precision. Her team had been preparing for something like this for years. Survival wasn't just about fighting. It was about adapting faster than the enemy could process. The aliens explained their desperation. Their most advanced fleets had been destroyed. Their best technologies rendered useless. The void swarm consumed everything. Not just physically, but technologically and strategically. "We need your warriors," the lead diplomat finally admitted. The words seemed to pain him, like admitting a terrible weakness. Jay understood something profound. This wasn't just a request for military assistance. This was a last-chance negotiation for survival. The colony's strategic team gathered quickly. Engineers, former military personnel, scientists, all brought unique perspectives. They weren't just discussing defense. They were reimagining warfare itself. Kim's analysis showed critical weaknesses in the void swarm's approach. Despite its technological superiority, the collective intelligence had predictable processing patterns. Humanity's chaotic, adaptive strategies could potentially exploit these limitations. The alien representatives presented star charts, technological schematics, battle recordings. Each piece of information was another puzzle piece in understanding the approaching threat. Humanity's isolation had been a blessing. While other civilizations grew comfortable, humans had been forced to innovate continuously. Every resource was precious. Every technology was a potential survival tool. "We will help," Jay announced finally. "But on our terms." The aliens looked surprised. They expected begging. They found negotiation instead. The terms were simple. Full reinstatement into the Interstellar Confederation, complete access to technological and research networks, removal of previous exile restrictions. The lead diplomat hesitated, then nodded. Outside the negotiation chamber, the universe continued its silent dance. The void swarm moved closer, consuming, transforming, advancing. Humanity had been waiting for this moment. Preparation was their true weapon. Adaptation was their real strength. The negotiations continued, each word carefully chosen, each strategy meticulously planned. The first human strike came without warning, 5 modified ships, looking more like experimental research vessels than military craft, approached the Void Swarm's outer consumption zone. Drake Collins, the primary consciousness of the Void Swarm, detected the approach. But something felt different. These weren't typical attack patterns. Jay Park's team had spent months studying the Swarm's technological integration systems. They understood something critical. The Swarm processed information like a massive computer network, and every computer system had vulnerabilities. The human ships moved strangely. They didn't follow standard movement protocols. One moment they appeared as simple debris, the next as coordinated attack units. Neural-linked pilots moved with impossible synchronization, their thoughts merging faster than traditional computer systems could track. Unicho's squadron represented humanity's most advanced adaptation strategy. Each pilot was connected through a quantum entanglement network that allowed instantaneous communication and response. Their brains worked like living computers, predicting and countering before actual movements occurred. The first attack wasn't about destruction. It was about information gathering. Specialized transmission devices embedded in the ships began sending complex mathematical sequences. These weren't standard communication signals. They were designed to probe, to understand, to disrupt the Swarm's processing capabilities. Drake Collins watched in confusion. The human approach defied all known military strategies. They weren't trying to win through firepower. They were attacking the Swarm's fundamental information processing abilities. Quantum encryption techniques developed during humanity's isolation now became weapons. Each transmission carried multiple layered meanings, designed to confuse and disrupt the Swarm's collective intelligence. The modified ships used adaptive camouflage technologies. They could change molecular structures in milliseconds, becoming part of the surrounding space debris, then transforming into attack platforms instantly. Alien military advisors watched in shock. The humans weren't fighting. They were reimagining conflict itself. Kim's strategic team had prepared for years. Every system on the ships could be rapidly modified. Weapon platforms disguised as maintenance panels, communication arrays that could become jamming devices. Pure technological improvisation. The Void Swarm's first counterattack failed completely. Its energy weapons passed through human ships that weren't actually where they appeared to be. Quantum positioning techniques made traditional targeting impossible. Each human ship carried specialized AI systems designed to learn and adapt continuously. They processed threat information faster than the Swarm could respond. What looked like random movements were carefully calculated molecular-level transformations. Drake Collins discovered something terrifying. The humans weren't just fighting. They were learning the Swarm's own technological language and turning it against itself. Transmission signals carried complex mathematical disruption sequences. Each communication became a potential weapon, breaking down the Swarm's collective processing abilities. The battle wasn't happening in physical space. It was occurring at the information level. Technological warfare reduced to its most pure, most dangerous form. Human pilots moved like living algorithms. Their neural connections allowed them to process and respond to threats before traditional computer systems could even recognize them. Specialized quantum encryption techniques turned every transmission into a potential weapon. Information became more dangerous than any physical attack. The first engagement lasted less than 17 minutes. When it ended, the Void Swarm had lost 3 major processing nodes, not through destruction, through complete technological confusion. Alien military strategists watched in complete shock. The humans weren't fighting like a traditional military force. They were fighting like a living, adaptive intelligence. Drake Collins realized something profound. The humans weren't just a threat. They were a completely different form of technological existence. The real war was just beginning, and humanity had just changed everything. In the darkness of space, something fundamental had shifted. The rules of conflict were being rewritten, one transmission at a time. The final battle began in silence. No dramatic speeches, no heroic declarations, just pure, calculated human determination. Jay Park stood on the command deck, watching holographic displays that showed the entire galactic conflict. Hundreds of modified human ships moved like liquid mercury, each vessel an extension of its neural-linked pilot's consciousness. The Void Swarm had been pushed back, but not defeated. Not yet. Unicho's squadron represented humanity's most advanced adaptation. Quantum entanglement communication allowed them to move and think as a single organism. Where traditional military forces saw obstacles, they saw opportunities. Drake Collins, the swarm's primary consciousness, realized too late that humans were not just another species to be consumed. They were something entirely different. Each human ship carried technologies developed during years of isolation. Adaptive molecular structures that could transform mid-battle. Communication systems that could break down and rebuild themselves faster than the enemy could process. The battlefield wasn't just physical, it was informational, psychological, a war fought at the fundamental level of existence. Alien military. Observers watched in complete shock. The humans moved with a complexity that defied traditional understanding. One moment a ship would appear as simple space debris. The next, it would become a devastating attack platform. He Kim's strategic team had prepared for this moment their entire lives. Every system was designed to be flexible, every technology ready to be reimagined. The first wave of attacks came from unexpected directions. Human ships used gravitational anomalies, quantum positioning techniques, and adaptive camouflage to become almost invisible. The Void Swarm's massive technological intelligence found itself constantly 2 steps behind. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology, it was adaptability. Specialized AI systems learned and responded faster than any known technological network. What looked like random movements were carefully calculated molecular-level transformations. Each transmission became a potential weapon. Drake Collins discovered something terrifying. The humans were speaking the swarm's own technological language and turning it against itself. Entire swarm processing nodes went dark, not through physical destruction but through complete informational disruption. The humans weren't just fighting, they were systematically dismantling the swarm's fundamental existence. The battle lasted less than 36 hours. When it ended, the Void Swarm had been reduced to scattered, confused fragments. Not destroyed. Transformed. Alien civilizations watched in complete amazement. The species they had once exiled had just saved galactic civilization. J. Park understood something profound. This wasn't just a military victory, this was redemption. The final transmission from the human fleet was simple. Not a declaration of victory, just a statement of existence. We are still here. Alien diplomatic representatives gathered to discuss the aftermath. The humans had done more than win a war. They had fundamentally changed understanding of technological conflict. Humanity's isolation had been a blessing. While other civilizations grew comfortable, humans had been forced to innovate continuously. Every resource was precious. Every technology, a potential survival tool. The Interstellar Confederation was rebuilt, but different this time, with humans no longer at the margins but at the center. Unicho looked out at the stars. They had survived. More than that, they had proven something critical about human existence. Adaptation was survival. Innovation was strength. The universe watched and remembered. Humanity had returned, not as conquerors, not as victims,